Aviation advances through the incorporation of new technologies into the aircraft design. The first significant improvements in aviation and aviation safety really was when the new instruments were developed to allow the aircraft to be flown through the clouds. That's allowed instrument flight to be possible, which is flying by referencing only the onboard instruments on the aircraft and navigational infrastructure on the ground. So when that really developed, that really opened aviation and aviation safety to new horizons, to broader horizons, by allowing flight at not only at night but also in rain and in cloudy conditions, because obviously the pilots now they had to get used to being able to fly without seeing the ground from the air until obviously they got closer to where they're landing and to be able to navigate to get where they're going. Another big improvement, a huge step forward in aviation, was the advent of pressurized aircraft, which allowed the aircraft to be flown above the clouds, above the weather, basically above 12,000, 13,000 feet, and of course engine development came with that to allow the engines to perform at high altitudes where there's less oxygen. And of course, in doing so, aircraft were able to use the high altitude winds to push them further. The jet stream, they were able to get into the jet stream and be able to travel a little faster just because the air mass was moving that much faster. After that came other improvements in aviation. Swept wings allowed the aircraft to fly faster. Also, the advent of fly-by-wire, which allowed the aircraft to be controlled instead of through manual cables and push rods, directly connected to the pilot's controls. They were able to use electronics, able to use controls which just provide electrical signals through wires to the actuators at the control surfaces, which would then actuate the controls. This allowed the aircraft to also take advantage of electronic flight control systems when they were developed. That way, we had onboard computers which would also do some calculations and allow the aircraft to be flown more smoothly and allow it to be able to remain within this operational envelope. There were also some advances in aviation aircraft design that are only now being rediscovered, is the way I like to look at it. Supersonic flight, for example. One of my favorite aircraft is the Concorde. It's a collaboration between companies in England and in France. They developed the Concorde, which its capabilities to this day are unmatched. Being able to carry 100 plus passengers twice the speed of sound. Literally faster than a speeding bullet. Over significant distances. So there are a lot of improvements in aviation that not only improve safety but also the performance of the aircraft, which allow it to be operated more efficiently. Newer electronics definitely help improve safety. Things like heads-up displays that can be incorporated into newer and older aircraft as well. Allow the pilots to be able to see to essentially see through the weather, so that they can land with lower minimums as far as the clouds being lower. Because right now there are certain limitations on how low the clouds can be for a pilot to be able to land the aircraft at any given airport. So with the advent of these new cameras, thermal imaging cameras that can be mounted on the aircraft and the information displayed to the pilot, they are able to take advantage of these new and emerging technologies. And of course, there are also ongoing development in the areas of electric propulsion, electric powered aircraft, hybrid aircraft, and also hydrogen powered aircraft. So Aviation is really exciting, especially for those of us who are enthusiasts and enjoy following and contributing to the ongoing progression of technology, safety, and performance in aviation, which really impacts us all, affects us all, because it ultimately will lower the cost of flying, because now the safety margins are higher, and also makes the aircraft more efficient, more quiet, more environmentally friendly. The use of more environmentally friendly fuels is an ongoing research and development process. So aviation is for those of you who are interested, or even have a a passing interest in aviation. There's a lot of technological developments for you to keep track of, and hopefully you'll be seeing them on aircraft at an airport near you. Take care.